Hi there. Welcome to the Puppy Love Podcast. My name is Jen.
And I'm Jane.
And we're two trauma-informed movement coaches who are obsessed with the healing power of our pups. This curiosity has what's led us to want to learn more about canine healing therapy and the beneficial effects that dogs are having on us humans.
Each episode, you'll hear the stories of remarkable canines brought to life by their owners and handlers. We also share relevant scientific research and healing stories in the news.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your pup, Jen, and why we're here, why we are in such puppy love.
Why we're in such puppy love. Well, I think we can all sort of point to moments in our life where we had sort of game-changing experiences or light bulb moments. I think most of us can, hopefully, even if it's just one. And I've had so many in my life, but very few have had any sort of emotional impact. Even the wins haven't really landed in my body, as it were, And based on the work that I do, the shared work that we do, where we are sort of getting people moving and feeling better in their bodies, making connections and finding more self-awareness in their bodies, I realized that I was so far from being self-aware and very disconnected. And so, as luck would have it, on my 40th birthday, my husband bought me a puppy. And his name is Kooper. Kooper is a red husky mix, most likely with a little bit of lab in him. He is all the drama of a husky, lots of conversation and yodeling, and he's got all of that husky drama in him. But he's got this sweetness and just this social butterfly nature about him that has him constantly saying hi to all the humans, all the other life beings. His curiosity and fascination is just truly terrific. And so when we first got him, he was very much having issues with attachment, which led to the first month or so with me on my couch with my dog, holding my dog. Crate training was not a thing. Holding my dog was a thing. And I had no idea. I wasn't talking to other dog people. I just was had this strange sense that I've never had that I needed to hold this thing and give it compassion and warmth through my body back to him. And, through that time, long story short, fast forward to, where we are now, this dog has significantly changed my life. And has allowed me to open up channels of my own curiosity and fascination into avenues and areas of my life that I never thought I'd touch. I probably didn't even know they existed. And through Kooper's guidance and unconditional love, in some ways I'm starting to understand and even foster a little bit of that in myself. And so that curiosity and fascination starts to sort of meander whenever I'm out in the world. And I spend a lot of time in the dog parks and meeting new people I never knew lived on my street. And even though I've been here for a decade. And so in addition to sort of finding this more of a kindness, a softer side of myself, which I am still exploring, Kooper has made me a bit more social, which when we're talking about, Ventral Vagal Complex, he has really kind of been a facilitator in me accessing some of that and learning more about it in myself. And then kind of being fascinated in how that shows up in other humans. So I'm fascinated by how much he's brought into my life, into my husband's life, and how dogs are so integral in the lives of other humans. And I can't be the only person that wants to talk about them all the time. And I'm so lucky and grateful that I have a compadre in you who is equally fascinated, obsessed, and loves to chat about them all the time. So here we are.
Nice.
That's us in a very brief nutshell. And you?
This is my new baby.
Hi, Juno. Sorry. I just introduced her.
Oh, this is Juno, my new little baby. It's been a bit of a rough start. She's had a lot of tummy troubles, and she was a little tiny when she came to me. So when she got sick a couple times in the last few weeks, it's been a little scary. And I'm a mom as well. I have a soon-to-be 15-year-old daughter, and I've had dogs with me most of my life. And I lost another golden this year, and she was actually, I have a studio in Toronto, if you don't know me, and she was my shadow. She was with me every day at work, pretty much. And Juno, good. I'm like, is Juno gonna take a pee on the carpet? We're in the house training phase. And so I had this incredible golden retriever with me who did lots of healing work with people, stuff that I couldn't do with people, with human beings. But more than anything, what brought me to want to do this with you, Jen, and share this is so much of my work is around trauma and healing, and it's intense, and it's so, it can be kind of heavy sometimes, but also amazing and rejuvenating in many ways. But having a puppy has got me so focused on the present that I feel like there's a part of me that has nothing to do with work, has nothing to do with my past, that is totally on board. And I think one of the things about dogs is they help us forget about our identity of who we are when we're working, or who we are as other people, you know, and you're just like humbled and trying to figure out how to care for these little creatures, especially if they're a bit more complicated or needing things, like you said with Kooper. So, and again, like you, I've lived in a building in Toronto, and I knew some people, but as soon as I got this gorgeous little golden retriever puppy, all of a sudden I had so many more interactions with people that I'd maybe had judgments or ideas of what they were like, or I've just been very humbled, especially because puppy times aren't simple for everybody. So I've had to kind of like talk to lots of people and be like, what do you do with this, and what do you do with this, or crate training isn't going well. And it feels like it's like being so incredibly focused, especially the puppy phases or when people get rescue dogs. You're just so in it, and it's so great to give my brain and my body a break from work, and to laugh my head off, or you know, wake up sleep deprived and have to like set limits for myself. And yeah, so I think dogs can do things that humans can't. And I know that I've seen that many times over with my former dog, and even with Juno. You know, I've seen people walk down the street and their faces are hardened, and I chose a dog that sort of melts people's faces because I like moving through the world and seeing the world as generally a friendly place. So that's kind of where I'd rather be living most of the time. And I just see people soften when they see a little puppy, and I'm going to make sure my dog grows up to be a very like good, friendly, well-behaved dog that can go into lots of different environments. So I'm here because I want to do this for fun too with you. And
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be about trauma for me. I'm like, the work that the dogs do, it's happening without us even naming it. They work on us, you know. They do work on us and they soften us. So.
And the brilliant part about that is, you know, as some of the work we do in service to others, and I think a lot of service people can say this, it's like, you know, constantly finding ways to take care of ourselves, to resource ourselves, to come down. Dogs just kind of shake that shit off. Yep. And we try to shake that shit off too, and it does work. But their ability to take on such a huge role in the way that they do, and just be so dialed in, and then just be like, I just need a walk. Maybe you can rub my bum. Like their needs are so little compared to what they put out there, which
I also feel like if you love your dog, all of a sudden, like, you have so much more in common with other people who love their dogs, and it's just that they're amazing at just connecting you with other people that you might think you don't have anything in common with, and then all of a sudden, you know, the dogs bring us together, and we are so in need of that in our world. And not to mention that they have there's cardiovascular health benefits for women over 45. You'll get a link in the show notes under the post where you can read a little bit about that. But dog ownership and the risk of cardiovascular disease and death, we can greatly reduce our risk for cardiovascular disease just by having a pet for so many different reasons, because they provide social support, but they also get you out of the house. Like, I know in the time I didn't have a dog, from losing my last dog to having a puppy, I noticed I didn't go outside as much. Like, I didn't need to, especially, you know, if the weather's not as nice. So it's undeniable that there's health benefits to having dogs.
Well, and speaking to very much the social support, which we've both observed and you know, taken part in ourselves, that part in the study, which I believe was a Swedish study, I thought was really interesting, was also, so this motivation for physical activity. And speaking personally, my husband and I sort of shared different philosophies on movement. His takes more of the form of either a chair at work, the car driving to and from, or the couch behind us. So different goals and ideas. But since having Kooper, without really changing anything about his lifestyle, which he's allowed to have, and he's perfectly happy having that lifestyle, but just the walks, generally speaking, if like we always make time for one shared walk together in the day, generally when he comes home from work, to help him de-stress. But in the 1.5 years since we've had Kooper, just taking that one walk, my husband's lost 10 pounds.
What?
And that's not a walk that is like, we're not walking kilometers. We're just walking around our block, maybe a little bit longer sometimes, maybe a few more times in a week on the weekends. But generally speaking, changing nothing else about his lifestyle. My husband, who is over 50, coming up to the mid 50s, has lost 10 pounds just walking his dog.
Holy shit. And that's just tiny little bits of, it's not going to the gym. You're just getting up out of the chair, and when they're looking at you and they're just like, oh, as they do. Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah. So when I read this study, I was like, yes, right. Like, I knew that. But, you know, sort of reading some of the research that, you know, if we're talking about just getting people out and moving, getting some vitamin D, to your point, I go outside in all weather because you have to. Like, there's no, you know, we do have a backyard, but my dog prefers to walk with mom and dad or run with mom. You know, he doesn't necessarily want to be shoved into the backyard, which there's nothing wrong with that. He just prefers to be with us. So rain or shine, getting outdoors in the elements.
That's awesome.
Great.
That's so good. Yeah. I can't wait to hear. I know we have some guests lined up. Do you want to tell us about one of the guests that's going to be coming?
Well, I think we have talked about Mr. Brutus.
Yeah. So yeah, Brutus is another movement professionals puppy.
Yeah.
But she's got a bit of a like really intense connection with him. But I was also thinking about your sister and her dog. And
so that would be Peanut.
Miracles.
Yeah, Peanut is Kooper's cousin, and they get along like a house on fire. It's awesome. But Peanut, the big dog, he's a much bigger dog than I think my sister and brother-in-law thought. But anyways, they've had Peanut, I think he's about 6 or 7 years. He was the dog that they got when they first got married. They first got the house. And their 2 beautiful girls came after that. And my youngest niece has a form of cerebral palsy, and the name is like this long and I can't say it, so I'm not going to try. But part of that has caused her some great physical pain during her early years, and not being able to verbalize, I'm in pain and I need this, has really led to some quite intense temper tantrums, and that quite frequently, like weekly, daily. It's been a challenge. And while they are working with a team of amazing caregivers through 2 different hospitals in the city, this amazing dog who could literally just, you know, like like you can see my sister and brother-in-law, just this feelings of wanting to snap because the situation is so overwhelming. Like I can only appreciate it as being an observer, how it's overwhelming for me. Mm-hmm. But Peanut, sort of like, yo, he sticks with her. He's with her in a way that he doesn't really freak him out. It doesn't cause him to become aggressive. It's like he can sort of suck all of that overwhelm and draw it down and be a bit of a soothing resource for her when nothing else is really there to work with her. So, you know, when we talk about trying to, like, you know, find our own skills for calming ourselves, he is quite phenomenal with her. And even because of his size, she had a fair amount of trouble walking on her own and started walking much later in life because part of the cerebral palsy is affecting the motor skills in her lower limbs. And she could kind of, like, you know, kind of drape herself over Peanut, big, strong dog, and just kind of, in a way, he was moving her in space, getting her around when she couldn't really move, almost like water wings for kids in the water. He was sort of like that floating device for her.
Great. So we'll hear more details from them when they come on. We'll be able to share some more specifics about kind of how Peanut is really helping them get through hard moments.
And that's all of them. Yeah, because as much as you see it with the impacts with Emily, you see how the poor dog gets shoved in the corner, but he keeps coming back with unconditional love. So yeah, that's the amazing part about some of these dogs is they haven't been trained. They're not service dogs per se, but they're in service to the humans that they love and live with.
There's so many amazing stories that we welcome you to share. If you have stories about your dog and how your dog has changed your life, you can leave a comment under the video if you like, and let us know how we can get in touch with you. We're just really excited to tell dog stories through their owners and provide inspiration for people about the goodness of these creatures and how they bring humans together. And looking forward to our first guest next time.
And before we go, I just want to make sure that in terms of other ways that they can reach us, we do have an email account as well as an Instagram. So I'll share those with everybody. I'll also make sure it's in those show notes, but you can reach us if you actually know of somebody that, or you know of a remarkable pooch, or you own a remarkable pooch and you'd like to share your story with us. Please connect with us either at podcastpuppylove@gmail.com or Instagram. That handle is @puppylove_podcast. And you know, we'd love to hear from you in whatever capacity. So.
All right, well, until next time, get your puppy love on and keep on loving those little furry creatures with all your heart.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane.
And Juno's fast asleep.
And Kooper might be on camera next time.
Nice.